Before taking the offering, the pastor announced that the church had several unexpected expenses in the last months. And he encouraged everyone to make a significant offering that morning. Hint, hint. And as extra incentive, he said that whoever gave the most that day would get to pick 3 hymns. So when the ushers brought the offering forward, there was a $1,000 bill on the top of the plate. And the pastor asked the donor to please come forward. And after a brief pause, an older woman came forward, absolutely beaming. And the pastor thanked her profusely for her gift and then reminded her that she was entitled to pick 3 hymns. And without hesitation, she pointed at 3 handsome young men and said, "I pick him, him, and him." That's what I'm talking about. See? What incentive? So, today we're continuing our series on a world that we create. And what came to me was to bring into our awareness sacred community. And another name that I call sacred community is family of heart. Family of heart. So there's a story from Africa that describes the ways Bushmen have greeted each other for centuries. When one becomes aware of his brother or sister coming out of the brush, he exclaims, "I see you." And then the other person approaching joyfully exclaims, "I am here. I see you. I am here." This is a simple yet such a dear and profound way, I think, of bearing witness to each other. Because in that moment, 2 things are happening. Someone is being seen, their presence is being acknowledged and honored, and someone is claiming through that honoring and acknowledgement their own presence. I tell you, for those people that truly see us and honor and acknowledge our presence, and who create the space for us to honor and acknowledge ourselves, they are the ones in our life that support us in standing taller and shining more brightly. To me, that's family of heart. That's sacred community. For when I have experienced that, for in their seeing of me, they encourage me, they call me up, and they create the space for me to step into all I can be. Because what they create through letting me know they see me is safe space. Safe space for me to try new things, to fail at those new things possibly, and then to try again and to not feel foolish or ashamed. They love me for who and what I am, not who they want or expect me to be. They love whether I call myself a success or not. They love me no matter what. They are the people I have consciously chosen to support me on life's journey of unfolding my true self in expression. For by seeing me, not the me they want or need me to be, they validate my existence. They validate and encourage who I am as a person. And in that validation, my self-worth and sense of value and deserving flourishes. Yeah. I just think those people that see us for who we truly are, for all our warts and foibles, and all our true beauty and magnificence, those are the people that call us in to being all we're here to be. And there's something about when someone that truly sees you really sees you and they let you know it. I remember watching an Oprah episode where she was interviewing Debbie Boone. I mean, this was years ago. And this just so resonated with me. Debbie Boone was talking about how much her grandmother meant to her. Her grandmother was a family of heart, was her sacred community, because she said, I don't care how I was showing up. Every time I walked into my grandmother's presence, she greeted me like it was the first time she'd ever seen me. Hey, honey! And you know, I that really resonated with me because I really want to do that with my goddaughter. You know, every single time I see that little peanut, I want her to know that she's so seen and that I'm absolutely thrilled to be in her presence. When we're thrilled, isn't it beautiful to know that when you walk into a room, someone's just thrilled to see you? Yeah. I see you. I am here. And there's something about also a family of heart is that I know for me in my experience of a family of heart that they're the folks that when we tick each other off, which we sometimes do, that they're the ones that we can go directly to and say, you know what, this is feeling weird. Can we talk about it? We're not being avoidant with each other. We're so sensitive and we're so aware because we see each other. We know when things are off, and we call it. I love that. And there are also people that we allow to give us their honest opinion of what we're doing. Yeah. I had a friend call me on something this week. Last weekend, I went to the beach for my birthday. And I don't know what it is, but when I cross that Chesapeake Bay Bridge, I have to breathe and I have to say affirmations. It's just like, because, you know, and so I was joking about it and I sent this picture out to a few of my friends. Well, one of my family of heart called me on it. She goes, what's going on? I'm like, oh. She goes, oh, no. What's going on? And so we worked through it. Because, I mean, I'm telling you, I get really scared on that thing. And I just envision that somehow I'm going to plunge to my death or something. And so she gently walked me through that. And it might not seem like it's a lot, but I let her see me. And she responded with, okay, I know what you're up to in your life. I know you want to move through your fears. I know you want to be all you're here to be. Let's talk about this. What's really going on? All over a bridge. Jeez. Okay. So people that we allow in our family of heart, they're conscious choices. Who has that been for you? So in our meditation, did anyone come to your mind's eye? Someone that you have allowed to see you, to love you. And I remember, and what I was going to say before I get into that story, sometimes the people that we allow to see us and make an impact in our life, sometimes they're not people that stay in our lives very long. Sometimes they're just someone, you know, have you ever just had somebody, had a profound moment on the street corner with someone or in the grocery store? When I was 6 years old, my family was going to church all the time. My family was very church-centric at the time because my father had left my family when I was 3. And so my mother just got the support she needed in church. And so I had lots of sets of parents, which, you know, sometimes I liked, sometimes I didn't. But I remember, you know, I would go to church. I'd go to Sunday school on Sunday morning. And then I learned how to be in church as a 6 or 7-year-old, to sit in church. And sometimes I got pinched because I'd be squirming. But there was this woman named Mrs. Edwards, Rose Edwards. And to this day, I remember her. She would take the time, because she knew I wanted to be a big girl, I wanted to be in big girl church. She would invite me to sit with her. And she wore really beautiful hats, and she had on really beautiful jewelry. And she'd stand and she'd hold the hymn book for me to sing with her. I just remember that she let me sit there and play with her jewelry, and we'd sing, and I remember her beautiful voice. And I know this doesn't sound like much, but for a 6-year-old, for an adult to take that amount of time and attention with me, it impacted me, and I remember it to this day, and I have no idea where Miss Edwards is now. I got older and moved on, but she still impacts my life. Those things, those small moments that can also be big moments. The tricky thing is that sometimes our sacred community, our family of heart, can't be our family sometimes, our birth family. I can see some people shaking their heads like, yeah. Sometimes. I'm not saying that always. But I wanted to share from Jesus' experience, because Jesus, remember, tried to go back home. Do you remember that? Okay. Hey, Jesus. Here he is. Luke chapter 4. So Jesus had just started his ministry. And he already had a claim. He had a reputation, because there had been some healings, and he had started boldly sharing his wisdom, which really annoyed the Pharisees and Sadducees, as you remember. And what he was saying was different. He was about the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. And so here he is in the temple in his hometown of Nazareth, and he reads the scroll and begins to speak his wisdom, and all were amazed. And someone said, "Isn't that Joseph's son?" And Jesus responded, "Truly I tell you, no prophet is accepted in the prophet's hometown." So Jesus kept on sharing his words of wisdom, and the people got so enraged at what he said that they drove him out of town to hurl him off the cliff. But the scripture said he passed through the midst of them and went on his way. Yeah, see, sometimes the folks that maybe we grew up with, maybe that might include our birth family, sometimes it's difficult for them to see us fly if we're flying in a direction that they feel is not the right one. Yeah. And so the opportunity that we have in that moment is to love them anyway, and to remember that we can consciously choose our family of heart. We can consciously make choices to be in sacred community, folks, instead of resisting where possibly our family members might be, or people that have known us since we were little and are having a hard time just seeing us in any other way. Stratton Smith said in 4T that acceptance is the greatest form of love there is. Accepting ourselves and each other. A family of heart is sacred community and can authentically accept, see, and call forth a person without feeling threatened, without being fearful of the changes that come when someone begins to bloom from being seen and encouraged. I see you. I am here. So would you just take a moment to the person sitting next to you, take a turn. Okay, turn one person right now. Just turn to the person next to you. If you're in threesome, just kind of share. Just say, I see you. I see you. I see you. Okay, and then now say, I am here. Yeah. Okay. So I think you get it. I see you. I am here. So this week, I just invite you to reflect upon who those people in your life have been that have seen you. And if they're alive, I just encourage you to tell them the impact they've made on your life. Regardless how small you think it might be, if you're remembering it, it's not small. And I just want to invite us as a community to embrace being a sacred community and being a family of heart for people that walk in the door. Because I know that's a unity teaching, that we are unconditional and that we're one. And there's something really beautiful when someone walks in the doors of this community and they leave here and they know they have been seen and that we are here for them. Because we never know what someone carries when they walk in the door of this community. And sometimes it's just stopping to just say hi. We can say, I see you, without saying those words. With our body language, with our presence, and to know that whatever way you're feeling, you do not have to come to Unity and be all. Now, I think some people feel like if they're not feeling on top of the world that they can't walk in those doors. That's not true. Because regardless of where you are seen and you are loved. So, this week, reach out to those people and also take on possibly what it would be like to be that for someone else. Who can you really see? And call forth their greatness and let them know that you're there. I see you. I am here, no matter what. That's sacred community, a family of heart. So let's affirm together. I celebrate the people who truly see me and encourage me. I am grateful for my sacred community, my family of heart. And so it is. So it is.